you reckon the effects of like dating apps has on our generation now? Do you think that people like they might meet like the perfect woman or guy, but then because of dating apps, they feel like their options are too varied and they get bored really quickly?
Yeah.
What do you think about dating apps in general? Like Tinder or
apps
Bumble?
is scary.
I think it's a scam still. Like there's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of catfishes on there.
Do you reckon that it's made it harder to meet the right person now through dating apps? Because I know that like certain people, they get like literally thousands of matches. They might go on a date with like the perfect person who's like everything they want, but yet because of dating apps, they'll get bored. Like, I've got other choices now. They'll leave it. What do you reckon? Do you think it affects relationships now, dating apps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the days, the relationship was very, very like, it was standard. It was like less cheating because like there was face to face, like there was actual, you know, the forbidden word, which is love. Basically, there was actual like relationships between one another. But like in dating apps, you don't really feel that, innit? You don't really feel anything between like looking at a screen.
Fair enough. But going back to
I don't think it makes a difference, you know.
what dating apps?
No, because you need to download it, you need to make a username, you need to do all of that. Why would you do all of that if you've got somebody at your house?
But some people do that just to cheat.
Do it just to have extra
pleasure.
Yeah, but
Attention.
the question was, do dating apps make it difficult? If my man, it's not like dating apps are there for free and it comes with everyone. Dating apps are something you need to go and apply for, just like a job, just for that something. That's the saying, jobs are ruining the economy because they give people money.
But here's the thing with dating apps. So it literally takes you 5 minutes to set up a profile, put a couple of pictures on there, a little bit of an info about yourself. It literally takes 5 minutes, and instantly it's like you get matches with people, instant. And that's what I'm thinking, like, is it ruining our generation for someone who does genuinely want to find love with someone, but because the other person might get like hundreds, sometimes thousands of matches, that it just ruins it for them?
So I think what the reality of it is, you see, on the dating apps, you have so many options where like you're not bothered about settling for one person because you're getting constant loads of different people. Do you understand? At the same time, with the dating apps, a lot of people, because they're used to getting all their girls and all their boys online, they lose that touch with the real world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People get so used to messaging, but when it comes to real face to face, they can't go talk to a girl.
Yeah, like.
So you can see a girl you saw on Instagram or on Tinder or whatever, and think, oh, she's nice. You can chat to her, you can message her easy. But if you was to see that kind of a girl outside, would you really go and approach her?
Nah.
Guys these days,
Some people wouldn't.
I can't like, he does have a point. Yeah, let me add something to that.
Would you be able to maintain that conversation?
Let me add something to that. Yeah, but guys, mostly I can't like guys these generations. Yeah, they'll go up to a girl, just be like, let me grab your snap, and then they'll out. They'll be texting on Snap all day. Am I wrong with? Like they'll have the confidence just to ask for their snap.
But it's a sick point of what Oz made there, because on a phone you might be the most confident guy in the world, but you've seen that same person in real life, you have no idea how to approach them. So do you think it's also added to the effect that dating apps have made it harder to approach people in general, maybe with like dating or jobs, whatever?
First though, I just want to say one thing. If you approach a female,
What up, B?
You know what? Wait, I want to get your feedback as well. No, get into it now.
Olivia's got pure sense.
No, she does. But you know what I love though? Because we've got both females and males, so I want to get from both perspectives as well. So come and get into the mic.
Let him have it. Just let him have it.
This is what I want to talk about, like, proper like just wicked feedback from both people, yeah.
I'll give you a little entry song
Yeah,
right
do Rocky.
all I'm saying though, is if you want to chat to a girl, just don't ask for their snap.
I'm saying that's
Do
what
not
people do.
ask
I'm not
for
saying
the
I
snap.
do that.
That's what everyone else
No,
Exactly.
I'm saying yeah, that's what they do, but I personally would not do that.
You feel like you would have no problem approaching someone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should. I feel like just because it's like a good looking girl, you shouldn't be scared to approach her just because like you're used to texting people on Snap.
Yeah. What do you think about dating apps in the first place? Or what do you think about dating apps? Do you think it's like a waste of time? Do you think it makes it hard to meet someone as well? Like,
It's a waste of time.
No, it's the hardest to. If you want to date,
yeah.
just don't go on a dating app, because
Therefore.
most of the time, all the boys, they don't actually want to date. I'm not saying all of them, but most of them they just wanna do up the girl, but they don't want an actual relationship.
Yeah, most of the time, this like 2022 is content now. Like before, like say like 1970, this that, yeah, everyone wanted like love and this, and like they wanted relationships and this that. Yep, with a boy or a man until they die, right?
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays it's all about clotting. Everyone wants
I
to clout.
lie.
Everyone's
The
horny and that.
generations. actually
Everyone
fucked
everyone
with
wants to
each
chart like clock,
Everyone thinks they're grown up.
grab brain, this and that.
Like Dennis, they think they're grown up.
What are your thoughts on marriage in the first place? Is this something that you've thought about or not quite yet?
I think if you're in a marriage,
Yeah.
you have to know your partner.
Yeah.
So you have to like if you actually want to marry them, go ahead. But if you're not actually gonna like take it serious, then don't do that.
Of course. Yeah.
Because say the woman, she has a lot of respect for herself. Like you're losing a good woman. Do you get what I mean? You gotta appreciate that woman. And then after marriage, women, they get upset that like when it first happens, a few months later they forget about it. And the boys, they don't care about the first time, but they deep it like in the long term.
Mm.
So
They try and mask it. The first couple instances. They try to do anything to just block it out, innit?
yeah, but they can't get over it. Like at first they will probably chat to their girls, but they just
Fair enough. I mean, last week I want to kind of add to that now, is what you just said actually, because last week we spoke about like different cultures and different backgrounds and how like marriage works for like different cultures and the rest of it and what their traditions are like. We'll get to in a bit actually, but kind of what you said actually as well. If you want to get married and so forth, like if you were to get married, say, what would be kind of some of your top rules or things that you would do before getting married? Like, could we mention like maybe like going on holiday with a person or moving in beforehand? I mean, like, what would be your kind of like top things that you would need to do before getting married?
I can't lie, there isn't really any needs. Like if I'm going out with if I've married somebody, they can do whatever they want. They can go out with their friends. They can have female friends. Like I can't. Why am I gonna interfere with their life, their outside life? Do you get me?
Mm.
I can't really empower them. That, do you get what I mean?
Yeah, but what do you think? Adding to that, then, what do you think about certain people like once you get married on a relationship, so that you can't talk to like the opposite sex now? Like we're in a relationship now, don't talk to other women or other men. Like, what do you think about that kind of thing? Then
That's just like that relationship's like,
That just basically means you don't trust your partner.
Exactly. What's the point of getting
You
married?
should, if you're marrying someone, you should be having trust in your partner. And if you don't trust them, then you shouldn't be marrying them.
yeah, because I've heard stories where, like, for instance, on social media, like unfollow like women, like for instance, a woman will get their partners like unfollow every single female on like Insta or Snapchat, and they like want all the like personal details on their phone and stuff. Like, what do you think about that kind of thing? Like,
That's just extra. Like, why would you even do that?
Security, innit?
I know, but you should like if you're with someone, they're with you for a reason.
It's true, like, but it's so true. Like, I know that obviously different cultures have different rules and stuff for their things, but I want to actually talk about that now. Actually, as well is culture, because I find it's really interesting and fascinating, right? But for you guys, what are your backgrounds in general? What are your backgrounds like? Your cultures? Like, I'm Greek myself, so how about you guys?
I'm Turkish.
Turkish, yeah.
I'm Kurdish.
Egyptian.
Oh, I remember you saying last time you're Egyptian. Like, what's like a typical? I've been to one myself before in the past. Like one of my best friends' marriage, but what's like a typical like a Turkish wedding then? Like, what's that like?
It's nice.
Yeah.
Like, so like the bride and the groom will like get money like pinned onto them. They have like a couple dances. Yeah.
Lots of gold, lots of food.
Yeah. They get a lot of gifts.
A lot of vibes.
Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah.
Like,
But what's that money for? You know when like everyone comes and they give money and they put into the pot. What's that money for?
for them to spend on something nice for each other, or to like buy a house.
What do you think the idea? What do you think the concept of it is?
Maybe to like buy a house, maybe buy furniture,
Yeah.
stuff like
Mhm.
that.
That's the money they basically use to set up their
Yeah.
future life. That's the whole concept around it. So that money that comes in from the wedding,
Mhm.
they use that as a means to start their life. Whether to buy a house, get a mortgage, whether they've already got a house and they're gonna furnish the house, whether they're gonna have a kid, just prepare for that. Just whatever it is, just
Mhm.
start off your life.
It's true. Same with the Greek weddings actually as well. I mean, is there any kind of like traditions that you do in Turkish weddings, or like leading up to it, or the day itself, or how does it all work? Like, what's like a Turkish wedding like kind of ceremony like?
It's
You go to like a church or anywhere else to get married, or
It's more like a whole thing, innit? Like,
Basically, before you get married or engaged, the male side of the family.
wanna get involved?
go ask for her dad's permission
Will go around and ask permission.
to marry.
Girls' family. Go on, explain.
So basically, the man side would go ask permission if they can marry the female side. Like, they need to ask the parents, of course, and
Mhm.
I think they'll take a gift or something as well.
Yeah, they bring gifts, they bring food, they bring just to show, just the hospitality.
Yeah.
Make them feel good, show them that yes, your daughter's gonna marry our family and we're gonna look after her. So
What if they
go
say
there.
no?
That's the whole point of going there, because they might say no.
Oh.
So they might say no, but bear in mind that people would have been seeing each other for a second, for a while, for them to even get to that stage. So that the boys will all go together, and like the matriarch of the family, that means like the eldest and like the man of the family. So it'll be like the granddad of the boy's family, or like the boy's dad if the granddad ain't around. If the boy's dad ain't their brother, but you know what I'm saying? It's like that. And they'll go and ask the girl's father. The girl's father's not around, as in not alive. They'll speak to the brother, to someone who's like a guardian, like a male guardian of that person. You understand? And they'll ask for that girl's hand in marriage. And then once they've got the hand in marriage, there's another procedure that goes on after it, where like, so let's say Olivia, you're the one getting married. You'll go into the kitchen and you make coffee for everyone.
Oh, yeah.
But for your husband or for your future husband, what you'll do, you'll make the coffee, like the Turkish coffee, you'll make it as horrible as you can.
I heard this, yeah.
You have to make it as horrible as you can. So you put salt in it, you put spice in it, you put pepper in it. You just make it as horrible as you can.
Why?
Just make it horrible. Listen to the concept. The whole concept of it is, so you go around, you're giving everyone their coffees, and then you give your fiancé his coffee, and then he has to drink that coffee. If he loves you, he has to finish that and drink that coffee without even making it obvious that his coffee's been tampered with.
Oh, it's like
So
a
you get
challenge
It's
thing.
like a challenge sort of.
Yeah.
So if you really love me, then you gotta finish it. You get it? So then you gotta firm it, you gotta just
Yeah, that's smart.
you gotta firm it. It's part of the little ritual.
Yeah, and I know that was like there's a lot of similarities to like Turkish, Egyptian, Greek, and that kind of area. I mean, is there anything kind of like similar in the Egyptian?
I've never been to an Egyptian wedding. I'll be real.
Never. Oh wow. I mean, have you like heard about how they run it before, like from family or friends or?
I know. They just. I don't know. I don't really know.
You gotta do some research into it, innit? It's your culture.
Fair enough. That's it. But we were saying actually before the podcast actually as well that there's. You said like, what if the wife says no, or if someone says no? I mean, in the Pakistani, what we're looking for within Pakistani marriages, if the woman says no, there's something called honor killings. Have you heard of this before?
No.
But if the woman says no, they'll kill the wife.
What?
I don't know how it probably
Or even,
works.
like, if let's say the husband's really abusive and she's not safe and she leaves, that's what happens. They'll try and kill them because they say, no, you gotta be with me, just to protect their honor, just to protect their name.
I'm not sure how it properly works, but it's around those sort of lines where it just happens. I mean, what do you kind of go and find or similar to that, or not, or something else? But what do you guys think about arranged marriages as well?
It still happens till this day. Like,
It does, yeah.
me personally, I would not want an arranged marriage. I would rather find out the person for me and then marry her. Like,
Yeah, because a friend of mine had an arranged marriage, and he obviously knew the woman just beforehand. They met a little bit while before, but then he got married after. And I love it. He loves the woman to bits. But what do you guys think of that? I know it's obviously
What,
culture.
do you mean divorce?
no,
Not
arranged
divorce,
marriage.
actually. They
Arranged marriage.
arranged, so they're married. The families will kind of provide you in a way.
Your family basically, it's like your mom linking you up with a boy saying, look, this is my mate's son.
You're gonna have to
Oh,
See how
marry
it
him.
goes. So the family finding you somebody instead of you finding it for yourself.
I mean, I can't lie, like, if my mum thinks somebody's good for me, I'll listen to my mum. I'll see how it goes. But if it doesn't go right, then, like, I'll tell my mum, like, I don't think this is the right guy for me. Because my mum, yeah, me and her, like, we're quite similar. So she knows what I like and that. So.
Fair enough. And just before you get married, actually, do you know what prenuptial agreements are as well?
Yeah, where you agree on something like after, I think, is it when you get divorced?
Yeah, so like you basically, obviously you can change it like according to how you want to get married and stuff, but for the most part it's basically saying what you get married into is what you leave with. So if you get married, say you're a multi-millionaire for instance, and you marry someone who might say not love you for yourself, but they might marry you for your money, say, then they down the line you get divorced and you end up giving them millions, say. That's why a lot of people like get prenuptial agreements signed beforehand, saying if you really love me for who I am, say you'll sign this. So if God forbid we do divorce down the line, you leave with what you came in with as well. I mean, what do you think about prenuptial agreements? Is there something that should be done or not quite done? I know it can be maybe a quite hard thing to talk about, but
I think it should be done personally. Because let's say if you really say you love me and then you want to get a divorce because you're cheating for some, for an example, I don't think you deserve what I've made for the both of us. So let's say I've gone out now and made like millions to support me and my family, my wife, my kids, yeah. And then let's say my girl is cheating now and she wants a divorce and she's trying to take half of everything I've made. I don't agree with that, because even you could have one penny to your name that could actually hurt the man. Because let's say he has to support the kids or something and he has to give his money to her, like, it's mad.
yeah, because there's been stories, I'll get your feedback in a minute as well, but there have been stories where a guy who's like a really genuine guy, for instance, will get divorced with a partner and end up giving them like child support or massive monthly fee, or just like a massive like one-off payment, like for instance like Jeff Bezos or Michael Jordan, or them lot of giving really billions, sometimes billions to their ex-partners now. I mean, what do you think on prenuptial agreements as well, Olivia? Do you have any kind of feelings on that?
I agree with him.
Yeah.
Like, if the man has built a lot, yeah, for that family and she just wants to go to another man, then that's just mad.
Yeah. But how would you feel then, say, if you got married together and maybe you had nothing together when you got married, but when you got married you ended up like becoming really successful and made obviously a lot of money, for instance, or got a nice house, but then you did that, some things maybe life got in the way or things happened and you end up getting divorced. Do you then feel like they deserve half, or
You should split it.
Yeah.
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 If both of you, let's like sorry to interrupt you here, but let's say you both have put your place into making a business work, then yeah, it should be 50-50. But let's say the woman, she took all her time and effort to make that business for her and herself to support you guys, then I think she should keep it. If like both sides.
Yeah. I mean, in that case, then do you think that should be part of maybe all weddings in a way, saying like, no matter how let's say we're going into this marriage, like, I love you so much, and if we do, I obviously don't want to talk about, but just in case we do get divorced down the line, then at least, and we do get successful together, you deserve half of what we earn or how much you deserve. Do you think that should be part of all marriages? Do you think like some kind of agreement in a way
I think something similar should happen. But even when you get divorced, let's say you don't sign a prenup, then either one of them two could move petty and start trying to take everything there is to the man or female's name. So
Yeah.
I personally think if you was gonna get married and you just want to be safe, I would try getting a prenup. If your wife isn't happy with that, then you can't really do anything about that.
Fair enough. And we've got like a few minutes left, so we'll go through a few more questions and maybe do like a part 3 for next time. But what do you think? Let's chat about stag and hen do's then quickly. What do you think about? I'm not sure about if this is for all cultures. Maybe some cultures don't allow this. Maybe, but what do you not think about stag and hen do's in the first place? Like, so before you get married, it's like one last party as a single person.
Like a bachelor.
Yeah, like a bachelor party, or like stag do's for men, hen do's for women. Like, what do you lot think about
Or
that?
is
Like,
that where like the couple give permission to each other to like do what they like? Not
maybe
cheat.
not cheating, but
Yeah.
basically like imagine it's your last day as a single person. You just go all out like partying or go to
Yeah.
like, a different country or
Last day is a single person.
yeah, so maybe like the day or like a little maybe
Like
like
a week before, maybe like.
Maybe a week
I don't
before.
Think, I don't think it happens. the
Oh,
day
what,
before.
celebrating your single, basically?
yeah, like maybe
Yeah.
like your last kind
So-
of day of freedom,
Because,
say
like, when-
before
I think that's
marriage.
hard.
Yeah,
That's hard.
because when you're married, like you have responsibilities as well, so you can't always go out with like your friends and do this and that. I personally would like to do that.
Yeah, I'd do that. 100%.
Yeah. Oh, so you would go out and do
Yeah,
your
go out with my boys. Last week of marriage.